Did you grow up in a dysfunctional family? So many problems that happen in the world, so many adult issues and child issues, of course, stem from dysfunctional families, stem from the stress and trauma that occur from growing up in a difficult environment. I mean, I remember a psychologist once saying every family is dysfunctional in some way or another, and that's true. But let's put it on a sliding scale. Some levels of dysfunction are pretty minor and they can be difficult to a degree, but don't really cause enduring issues. And maybe the good stuff outweighs the negative. But often the degree of dysfunction in the family, is getting to that sort of pointy end of the scale, that other end of the continuum, where it has caused really serious issues in the child's development. And so, as an adult, this can show up in so many different ways. And we're starting to unpack those ways in these longer videos together. But today, I just wanted to drill down on dysfunctional family. So let's have a look at some examples of what that can be. One type of dysfunctional family is a conflict family where there's a lot of fighting between parents, or maybe between parents and the children, or amongst the siblings. Constant fighting, arguing, yelling. Sometimes it can be just verbal, but there's always that sharp energy. There's always that stress for anyone growing up in that, being around that kind of conflict. And when we're little, we just don't have the boundaries. We just don't have this sort of separation, if you like, between what's happening around us and what's happening inside us. There's a saying that, if a child sees something on a screen, that they'll feel that it's happening immediately in the environment. So if they see like a natural disaster on the TV, they'll run to the window to see what's happening outside. Children, we just developmentally don't have that sense of distance, or that that's happening on the other side of the world. So when it's happening in a family, it might be happening between parents or with other siblings. It may not be happening directly to the child, but it might as well be. It's the same as if that's happening directly to the child. That's how immediate the experience is. Another example of dysfunction in family is addiction, where there's a parent or parents addicted to alcohol or other drugs. It could be gambling, could be work. It could be like an obsessive compulsive perfectionism. These sorts of addictions. When there's a serious addiction going on, if we follow Gabor Mate's theories, that tells us that there's unresolved trauma there in the parents or in the sibling that's showing the addiction pattern. Doesn't always mean there's trauma behind addiction, but more often than not, there is. And so when there's that playing out in the family, that's a whole other set of issues there for the child. You might have heard of the saying, the alcoholic family. That's a very common one, where everything's revolving around alcohol. Obviously, there's one parent, let's say, who's the alcoholic, and everyone is just having to fit in around that. Everything is revolving around that addiction. Highly dysfunctional, of course. Other forms of dysfunction, other examples are when there's abuse, obviously, or neglect. This might be physical abuse or neglect. It might be sexual, incest abuse. It could be emotional abuse or neglect. We've explored emotional neglect in a previous video. Domestic violence. Obviously, there's very heavy-duty forms of dysfunction. And I guess as a society, we've understood the damage of this sort of thing for longer because it's more dramatic, it's more obvious. But yeah, obviously long-term negative effects. Mental disorders. If there's a mentally ill parent or parents or sibling, the impact of that on the family is huge. It creates all sorts of ripple effects, all sorts of issues, like a depressed mother or an anxious father, or whatever the illness might be. It might be a schizoaffective disorder. Obviously, makes all sorts of problems for the child. Another example of a dysfunctional family will be when there's abandonment, where a parent actually abandons the family. There might be another parent who hangs around, but the impact of that abandonment, that rejection, is major, obviously, in the family, the children that remain. A form of that that's personal for me is when a parent commits suicide. So that form of absolute abandonment, creates all sorts of issues. It's part of why I'm a psychologist. So I'm not sure what you relate to there. There might be something that really stands out as obvious. It could be another form that I haven't covered there, but just being respectful to yourself. How severe was the dysfunction in the family? If we grow up with something, we tend to adapt to it. We tend to internalize it. We tend to minimize it. If you're watching this, you're probably one of those stronger people who's been more of a pleaser or a freeze or a withdrawer, type of person, a stronger kind of character. And so most likely you've internalized the dysfunction. And there might be some things that are obviously wrong. There might be other things that are just sort of buried inside. And so part of the healing journey is actually to name it, to witness it, to validate just how stressful, how hard it is, or was as a child, because we forget that. We're very good at forgetting. We're very good at suppressing or unconsciously repressing memory, strong emotion, just because it's too hard to live with. This is how we cope. This is how we survive. As one of my therapists said many years ago, if we couldn't do that, if we had that stuff up and out in our awareness all the time, we just want to die every day. It's just too painful, too difficult to live with. And so aren't we remarkable? Aren't people amazing, incredibly strong and resilient in different ways, to be able to kind of deal with these levels of stress and dysfunction in this messy old world of ours and to get through? But obviously there's side effects. Obviously there's issues developmentally. We spoke in another video about the 4F reactions to trauma, and we'll unpack that more too. But right now, I'd like to do some guided hypnosis, some self-hypnosis, and give you a technique here to help heal in this, to help mitigate these effects. So just getting comfortable, just getting ready in the chair, the lounge, wherever you find yourself sitting, resting, and close down the eyes if you're comfortable to do that. And just start with the breathing. Always start with the breathing, some nice, long, deep, easy breaths. And as you turn the awareness from the outside world to the inside world, I want you to imagine a staircase with 10 steps leading downward, leading down into deeper relaxation, deeper peace, deeper stillness. So when you're ready, you find yourself at the top of the stairs. There's a banister there to put your hand on. And when you're ready in your own time, taking the first step down, 10, going deeper into relaxation, 9, stepping down again, 8. Each step going deeper and deeper within, 7, 6, each step twice as deep within, 5, doubling and deepening, 4, going into a peaceful, quiet, still place within, 3, 2, and 1, finding yourself at the bottom of your staircase. And we're not going to unpack the dysfunction today. What we are going to do is use the power of imagination to imagine a healthy family, a functional family, and we're going to bring our inner child into that better place. And so to start with, I want you to notice that younger you stuck in the middle of whatever the dysfunction was. Get a sense of him or her. Notice them in that darker place, possibly very painful. And when you get a sense of them, I want you to reach out for them as the greater you, the adult you, the present day you that's doing this self-hypnosis right now. I want you to access that younger you. Maybe take their hand, Put an arm around them. If they're really little, you might need to just pick them up. If they're a bit older, you might just give them a big hug and lead them by the hand. But you say to them, come with me. Come with me now. The past is over. That childhood's finished, thank goodness. We got through. And I'm going to bring you to a better place now. And I want you to lead them somewhere beautiful, somewhere peaceful, somewhere safe. It could be inside, like a beautiful room, in a beautiful space. Or it might be outside, somewhere beautiful in nature. Wherever you choose is perfect. And you find yourself, the greater you with the younger you, in your beautiful, peaceful place. And I want you to look them in the eyes and say to them, I'm here now to be the good parent to you. I'm here now to create a highly functional family for you, to create a highly loving, supportive, caring, nurturing space with you. I'm going to be the source of this just because I can. We're that powerful now. And as you open your heart to your inner child, bathing them in beautiful, deep love and care, as you hug them and laugh with them and help them to adjust, help them to realize the truth here, that the past is over, doesn't exist. You got through, you survived. And that now is now. And you can say to the child, just use my words as yours, I'm here now to give you everything you deserved, everything you missed out on, everything you longed for, cried out for, and never had. Together, we're going to create a wonderful, loving, functional family together. Just feel what that's like as you bring all this love and connection to this beautiful, peaceful place, as you imagine being with the younger you in this healthy, wonderful, mature, caring way. And if it's appropriate, you can even bring others into it. Sometimes there's a sibling or two that were just as stuck as we were, and they need the help as well. You might be able to bring, them with you into this space. Whoever belongs there. But even if it's just the adult you with the little you, that doesn't matter. That's enough. That counts. When two or more are gathered in my name, there I am amongst you. And here you are, bringing this love, this peace to the younger you. And just take a moment here to play with this, to imagine this, to really feel into this. Recreating what family feels like deep in your subconscious mind body. And as you play with that and enjoy that, just take a moment to notice how your inner child's responding. How are they looking now? How are they feeling now compared to before? Same or different? You might like to look them in the eyes again and say, I'm here for you now, and I'm going to keep turning up for you. I'm going to keep dropping in to bring you that love and support you deserve. You're never going to be on your own again. And you might like to set an intention to play with this, to practice this, to keep dropping in, even if it's just for 1 minute a day. That can make a profound difference. And you give her a hug, you say whatever you need to say to finish. And I'm just going to bring you back to the surface. You can pause this if you wish to spend some more time here. When you're ready, you find it's you and your inner child now ready to come up those stairs together. 1, 2, walking up the stairs together, coming gently back into your waking consciousness. 3, 4, bringing that feeling with you, the sensations in the body. Just notice. 5, 6, how you're breathing, how you're feeling now compared to before. 7, 8, how are you moving as you come up the stairs together? As you bring all that wonderful shift, that healing up to the surface, up into waking consciousness, beta brainwave. 9 and 10, coming into waking consciousness now, soft eyes gently opening when you're ready, and feel that, bring that feeling with you into the present, that greater connection with the younger you, and that feeling of somehow up-leveling your family dynamic inside. So well done, good work. You might be interested in my Power of Mind audio program. I recorded that a few years ago professionally. That takes you through all the psychology and how to of self-hypnosis, the work we're doing here. And starting at the very basics, we go through 7 different stages of dropping in, of inner work. You might enjoy having more understanding of the science behind it, or the psychology of hypnotherapy, and plenty of guided practice in that audio program. Thanks for your time, my friend. Look forward to connecting with you again.